You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. Three Dog. Ow! If you didn't play that video game, none of that made sense to you. But anyway, welcome to AssholeConsulting.com. I am America's older brother, but he does not limit. I don't look how selfless and kind I am. I consult anybody who can speak English. So we got a lot of people from Australia, all you Aussies down there. We got a couple people from East India. Got a lot of immigrants from all of Asia, frankly, because you come here and the culture is that different. It's a Western culture. You're not from Western culture. And like, dude, I thought all the blonde-titted, big-titted whores would just be lining up to suck my dick. I'm like, dude, terribly, that don't work that way, Punjab. Terribly sorry there, Muhammad. Don't work that way. Nope. And so you guys are all lost and confused, like, oh my God, was there somebody ever, not that you sound like that, but let's just seem like you sound like a Southern Baptist. Oh my God, is there anyone in the United States that can help me? And even though your name would be Ahmed and you sound like a Southern Baptist priest, pastor, minister, the old Capmeister is here for you at AssholeConsulting.com. Let us get the fucking work done. I am actually pumped. I am 2 videos away from catching the fuck up. Then I can get to my more serious clients. Not that you guys aren't serious with your money. It's been a shitty week. So, I mean, a good week, but God almighty, had to work. Had to fucking work. Can you imagine that? You sons of bitches making me work? Making me try hard? All right. Hey, Aaron, I would like to know what your opinion is of the overnight shift in general. Are you kidding me? If I remember correctly, you have had some overnight jobs, particularly as a security guard. Yeah, you remembered correctly. That's pretty much all I did until, I mean, honestly, I still work security now because I love it. I've always found overnight work to be the best. You have little to no contact with bosses, yep, and don't have to worry as much about dealing with possible tyrant bosses or grumpy customers who may be having a bad day. Oh, yeah, dude, when I tell people work security, they'll think, oh, I don't want to work the dog shift. You totally do, because arguably, I mean, there's so many benefits that come working the overnight shift, the third shift. But the biggest one is you don't have to deal with people. I mean, keep in mind, your boss ain't the only person you got to deal with, all right? During the daytime, any one of you have worked customer service or been a bartender or whatever, you know you got to deal with. Now imagine the job where you don't deal with people. Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. The only problem is you got to be awake and working when everybody else is asleep. And there's biological, physiological drawbacks to that. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, the number one thing is you don't have to deal with people, period. Your boss, coworkers, clients, people. It's just like, no, fuck you, I'm here. And none of you are awake, but you need me here to look over this warehouse or something. I cannot. And especially now with modern day internet technology. Oh my God, dude, it was great in the 90s. Now, you guys have the world's information at your fingertips on your phone. You can get a degree online and you would make money. I remember, let me tell you the story. Everybody gather around. Old Uncle Cappy's got to tell you a story. So my buddy Hammer, I won't mention his first name, his last name is Hammer. And he was the sweet, nice guy. I remember in 1996, he had one of the first laptops, and it was black and white. And I played one of the Civilization games on it, and it was Christmas break, so I didn't have any homework to do, and I got to play video games. People paid me to play video games. Now that's this old honking laptop that's about as thick, it literally was almost as thick as a brick. Black and white screen. But today, with internet technology, I mean, you got access to all the world's knowledge. And thankfully, there's more and more online schools coming online, like Western Governors, ASU Online, edX, the company I contract for, Ed2Go. You can get online education, and that really is, I think, the salvation point. Like, you can work and get paid to study. The only place that gives you a better deal, except for the fact you might get shot, would be in the military. But yeah, I mean, with today's technology and working overnight, if you can handle it for a while, it's why I always said security is security. People always say work security, or some third night, parking lot attendant or whatever, the guardsman, something your late night where you don't have to deal with people. Yeah, you damn right I'm pro. And man, you're gonna find yourself real quick. You will be so on top of your game. Like I look back at like when I was a kid, and what I pulled off was fucking godlike. And I'm not even being arrogant. It was fucking godlike. It was fucking unrivaled. I graduated without debt. I graduated with I got 2 A minuses. I got 3.96 or something like that. Great GPA. Graduated 6 months early. Technically, like a year early because like my senior semester was like one class I had to take because I miscalculated. I had no student loan. I paid for everything. I graduated $6,000. It's amazing. Like, so truly intelligent people, truly successful, truly driven people. The overnight shift is like this powerful weapon that you can use to achieve excellence. You can avoid poverty. You can have self-employment. You're not self-employment. Well, you can. You could work on your entrepreneurial ideas. You could go run it. I mean, okay, let me tell you another story. Old Capmeister was working downtown Minneapolis at the U.S. West Building. I don't even know if they're around anymore. I think it's all MediaCom or something like they're CenturyLink. I taught myself how to ballroom dance. And I taught myself, what else did I do? I got all my dance classes. I ran because there was a fax machine there, and this is how long ago it was, is I would print off the stuff at home and I'd fax my proposal to different community education departments while working security at the U.S. West Building downtown Minneapolis. And then what else? Oh, I wrote books. You have all the time in the world, and they're paying you. Bachelor Pad Economics, 2/3 of that was written while working security. And it kind of forces you to focus on yourself and like, what are you going to do in your career? And so you get in, it's not necessarily time management, it is time management, but life management. Like when you're sitting there and nobody's interrupting you for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours, you do the 7 to 7 shift, 12 hours at a time. Oh, you get your shit together real quick. You are on your fucking game. So that when you walk out at 7 a.m., you're trying to get out of the downtown area before rush hour hits and all the sheep come in because they're sheeple from the suburbs, you like, all your bills are paid, you took a class online, you learned how to program Python, whatever it is, you wrote another chapter. I cannot advocate, especially for you young boys and girls who happen to be poor, I cannot advocate security work enough. That's how I got out of poverty. Not that I'm rich right now, but I mean, I don't go starving no more. I don't worry about where the next meal's coming from. And I would have to say the bedrock, the fertilization, the fertile grounds by which allowed me to start my businesses, write my books, all that other stuff, came from the fact that I could work security late at night, and I was forced to be by myself for 8 hours a day, a night. And it focuses. You become a Tibetan monk. You focus and you solve all your problems. You get your shit together, so that by the time you're like, you've done more. I know you're only paid $15 an hour, whatever the going rate is, right? But by the time you leave, you've really earned more like $30, $35, $40, $50 an hour if you're smart about it. And you don't have to be that old. Oh, the ideal position would be you're a computer programmer. And like a high level one, and you just dial in and program shit and bang out code. Then the security guard job almost becomes like a hobby. But yeah, I cannot emphasize for young men and women who are looking to escape poverty. You were poor, you didn't have no help, your parents were doing it, you needed something. And you also wish to achieve excellence. That's the other thing. Look, anybody can go work. Look, you can make $20 an hour babysitting. That's how rare it is to find millennial kids to fucking babysit and show up on time regular. So you can make the money. You can go weld in the Bakken oil field. But if you're willing to suffer a $10 to $12 to $15 an hour job, which is good pay, that's good on that if you're in New York or San Francisco, because liberals make everything better and cheaper. Obviously, they're a superior race. But if you can make that amount of money that just, pays for your basics, but then you can focus and train and hone all your skills and 100% of your attention, because there ain't no distractions, on yourself, oh man, the dog shift is great. The dog shift, that's what was his name? There was an author. There was an author who worked. He wrote, was it Grapes of Wrath? Some famous American author. He was a security guy. I should know it, but he was a night watchman. I didn't know that. In some cases, you can work by yourself, as I have a job doing overnight maintenance, and I am by myself over 50% of the time, and I am rarely subjected to annoying bosses or lazy coworkers who don't pull their weight. Yeah, it's great. Oh, and then let's say you don't even want to do self-improvement. You just want to listen to podcasts. You just want to consume book. You can read. You can listen to podcasts, listen to Stephen Molyneux, philosophize the fuck up, listen to economics podcasts, everything. I mean, it's an amazing world. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. In some cases, 50%. I think that overnight employment is a hidden treasure and is great for people who don't want to be subjected to the unorganized clusterfuck decline of our society at a high level. What are your thoughts on the overnight shift? What do you like about it and not like about it? Well, I've kind of already sung its praises. I mean, oh, man, I wish. I was thankful for having security when I was there before, you know? But man, if I had the internet back in the olden days and I could listen to podcasts, it's a true intellectual's dream come true. Like it's their dream job. You're left the fuck alone and you could just read your books. You know, for you weirdos that want to call up to a book. For us superior people, we listen to headphones and we listen to audiobooks because then we can do something else. But I'm just busting you guys as nuts. Yeah, I mean, for true intellectuals, the dog shift is great. I can't recommend it enough. Now, there is a drawback. The human body was not meant to be awake at night and sleep during the day. And the longest I ever did it full time was about 1.5 years. Now, when I was in college, you say, well, wait, weren't you in college for more than 1.5 years? Yeah, I was. But we start from a 9 p.m. to a 5 a.m. shift. Oh, zone patrol. That sucked. And that fucks with your mind. That fucks with your biology. You need to see the sun. You need to be awake with other people. And pretty much every other security outfit's kind of like that. We're going to give you your shit shifts. Although maybe it's a little bit different right now. I know my buddy's having a hard time finding reliable people that like aren't drug addicts and can pass a piss test. So, you know, if any of you young boys or girls out there want to go become a security guard and you got your shit clean, please consider applying. But where was I going? Shit, what was I talking about? It was, what was I talking about? Oh, the 1.5 year. You're going to start to suffer. There's a tax. There's a drawback biophysiologically. You'll just get depressed. It'll fuck with your sleep schedule. And it takes 1 year or 2 to readapt back. Even to this day, I have problems sleeping that I take sleeping pills. Because I used to fight it like, okay, I'm going to like exhaust myself physically. And if I'm out west, I can kind of do it. But I won't lie to you, when I worked in security for all those times late at night, all of a sudden your sleep cycle is off. And you do need your sleep, and you need to be awake during the daytime. So the dog shift is only, like, you can do it once, I think. When you're in college or you're younger, you can do it once, and maybe for 1.5 years or 2 years. When I was in college, it was 9 to 5 a.m., but then I got promoted to what was called escort. And then you did more of the building shifts and the 6 p.m. to midnight type of deals. And those are great. Those are great as long as there's nobody around. Like, they all get out after rush hour. But even then, you're awake at 12. Like, it will fuck you up. It will fuck up your sleep. And sleep is really important. So what I would recommend is, it's kind of like, I don't know, an afterburner or turbo boost. You got or nitro. Like, you got a certain amount of nitro in your tank. And once it's gone, it's gone. Don't refill it. This is not a lifestyle you want to have forever. I occasionally work the occasional security shift, but we're talking like once a month maybe. It's like, oh yeah. But then like you're working the, midnight to 8 and you come back home, you're all fucked up. It's like, God damn it, I guess there's a night out day, what the fuck. But for, that time you really want to focus and hone your skills and improve yourself in college, getting your degree. Look, you're going to have to burn the midnight oil. You might as well burn it and win the trifecta effect of being forced to study, forced to focus on yourself and your discipline, get paid, and then what's the other one that you're focusing, you're paid, but then you're also studying. You get like free tuition, or not free tuition, but you get free study time. You'll be a great student. Like, you'll just master all the shit in front of you because you're forced there for 8 hours a day. Not to mention the side benefits of entrepreneurship. You just sit there, what should I do? What should I do? Great business ideas come from just sitting there at 3 a.m. Hey, I should come up with asshole consulting. All right. Anyway, yes, the old Cappy is very pro third shift, but it's not a long-term solution. Use it while you're young, and then hopefully that will launch you into a career that's more traditional, hopefully entrepreneurial, hopefully where you don't have to answer somebody. But yeah, I'll tell you this, if I had the choice, I mean, obviously self-employment is the ideal condition. We'll go with that, and working security can lead to that. But, dude, working the late night shift will beat being a cubicle slave any day. I know you all can't wait to just commute and line up with the other sheep. Bah! To, like, go drive downtown, pay your $6 for a sandwich, and then, like, I'm downtown. Oh, my God, look at here. We're on Nicollet Avenue. We're on Main Street. Ah. And then, like, you just, like, your life is taxed and destroyed. It's better to work the late night shift than to be a fucking normie, conformist sheep in your commute, do your 9 to 5. I'll tell you that much. Even with the biophysiological lack of sun. But it's not something that you can do long term. And so use the opportunities and the benefits that third shift work confers upon you to make it so that when you go into the real world, when you go into normie world, you're not a normie. You're like this high level R, Python, SQL. I know SQL's not a programming thing, but it's not a language, but you nerds can make your comments down below. You want to come out with an amazing degree, an amazing skill, amazing education. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm going to work from home. No, I don't commute. Commute's for normies. Commute is for normies. That's it. That's your goal with working security work. And then another thing that I didn't realize until I was a little bit older, what I like about security work is it forces you to face your fears every once in a while. Like when you get old enough, you're like, oh, I don't have to fight anymore. Like, yeah, in grade school, middle school, you're always fighting, high school. But working the occasional, not building shift, but like every once in a while I go work like a real shift where you got to face the drunks, and the drunks are let out, and I won't tell you where. Armed security, we can't all be in the military, or you're too old like me to join the military, but facing down, or facing in general, some of society's criminal and scumbag element, I think for men especially, that's something that, like, you need a little bit of fear, you need a little bit of risk in your life, and there's a drawback to it. You're being a bouncer, you're being armed security, but it feels good. It's like, oh yeah, I actually am a man. Like, yeah, we're not military, we're not cops. I know that I'm security guard, but when you're on an armed patrol, I can't say who or why or when, but let's say you're a bodyguard, and oh shit, somebody might make it on this guy. Oh, well, maybe this isn't like fun and games no more. This is not sitting there playing Civilization 2 on my buddy's brick-thick laptop computer. But even that is a benefit, because then you're like, oh yeah, but that's if you get in that, that's armed security, that's a different world. That's not, building security. Right here, you be a warm body here and we lower insurance premiums, and then we'll come collect you at 8 a.m. And then even if somebody breaks in, we don't want you doing anything. We just want you to call the cops. That's what our unarmed security is. You're here for insurance purposes only. If anything happens, get the fuck out of the building and leave. But then when you get into armed security, it's a little bit different, where it's kind of like, oh, we have different responsibilities, don't we? Anyway, that's fun. And you can't study. You can't study on armed security. That's the other, like, armed security, you are not to just sit there and play on your cell phone. There's more important shit going on. So, all right, we'll see you kids later. Toodles.